Good evening. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the London Indie Underground, which, if you didn't know already, is London's only independent music podcast showcasing some of our area's most talented artists, bands, and personalities. My name is Jimmy James. We're broadcasting you live from the Vault Recording Studio at Adelaide and Princess here in London, Ontario. And joining me as always, my buddy, your friend, the skinny fat guy, Gary Begner.
Hola, Jimmy.
How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
Great, Gary. I say this every time, but I don't get to see you, from Wednesday to Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't get to see you at all, so I know you're at home plugging away in the car hold.
Yeah, in the old car hold there.
Yeah.
Printing up a batch of messy shirts and crap.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Business is good?
Yeah, business is good.
Yeah.
I hate going away. I think we discussed that before.
Right.
Every time I go away, I have to come back and then run like hell to get ramped up again. And everything will be going great, and then the girl will say, "We should go away on a vacation." And then everything comes to a screeching halt.
Right. They do that to you.
Yeah, they do. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy traveling. So it's all good. You never know when it's going to
backpedal.
Yeah, you never know when it's going to stop, so you just got to take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah, right on.
But,
Well, it's good to see you, G. You
Good
made
seeing
it
you.
in time. Cut it close today.
Yeah, very, very close. Coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, man? Same thing here. I had to get one.
Yeah.
So you probably saw our posts over the last couple of days because we're pretty excited today to be joined by a local producer and artist, Mr. Gord Pryor. Gord,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, man. You look, you're wearing, people can't see you yet because I haven't turned the camera on, but you look like you're ready to head into the Arctic.
I just came back from an Arctic expedition, actually.
You got this whole Survivor Man thing happening.
You know, I thought I'd miss my plane, but I got here just in time.
Right on. Well,
so I
thanks.
didn't have time to change.
Well, you asked me when you came in, is there video on this? I'm like, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's all
so if
good.
you smell stuff, it's just the animals and stuff, but we're good. We're okay.
Okay. And also joining us today is Mike from the Divine Right of Kings.
Hello, how are you today?
Hello, good sir.
Good.
I see you got some beers teed up there on your left-hand side.
I'm always ready.
You're ready to go?
Divine Red Kings, we like to party, I guess.
Yes, we do. Well, I say we as
Is
in
that
royal
the
we.
is that the slogan for the band now? Divine Right of Kings. We like to party.
Well, you can't kill the party. The party kills you.
Okay, there you go.
Ayo.
Heyo.
You know, the great thing about being in the building that we are, there's like 35 jam rooms in this building, so you never know who's going to stop by. So Mike had kind of poked his head into the door earlier and said, hey, do you mind if I sit in? I'm like, man, by all means. We kind of have an open invitation here on London Indie Underground for anybody that would like to come and join us for the live podcast, whether sit in as an audience member or partake in our panel. You never know where the conversation's going to go. We try to steer it towards all things indie in London, but, sometimes we do get a little off the rails, especially when Brendan Eady is here.
Uh-huh. Or when Siggy's here.
Or when Siggy's here, which those two guys will be back.
Yeah. have we had them together?
No.
No, because that'd just be a train wreck, wouldn't it?
I'm just going to step away from the mic if that happens.
It'll be a glorious, glorious train
Yeah,
wreck.
you can. Yeah, I'll tell you what. You can run that one.
Yeah. All you have to do is throw out one word, and the pair of them will just go back and forth for...
Well, my problem is I just can't stop giggling.
Mm-hmm.
There's just way too much. It's like overload, especially with Siggy. Have you ever hung out with that guy like outside of here? Here, he's pretty crazy here.
Yeah.
But then when you get him, like you go to a studio or you get him out, like the guy's insane. He's awesome though.
Yes, quite awesome.
We miss you, Siggy. I know you're probably listening, so you're gonna have to come back. We'll book you one of these weeks here. I know you're always working on some stuff, so we're more than happy to have you here.
And congrats on your new endorsement, Mr. Siggy.
Yes, he's got a bunch of them now.
Yeah, it's insane. I still want to try the Kemper, just saying. But the new Vader stick one's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He just keeps getting like...
So what is that, the rack?
No, actual sticks, drum sticks.
Oh, the Vader sticks, sorry.
Yeah, so you got an endorsement today for the studio.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, for Vader drumsticks.
I'll have to post that up.
And he's on the cover of, what's that new...
Modern Sound or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you know what? We should post that up for him so people can check that out because
Okay.
I know that's a big point of pride for him.
Well, it
Yeah.
should be. It's awesome.
Yeah, his
work.
studio is unbelievable. I mean, I joke when he comes here and I'm like, well, you're in a real studio now, Siggy, but and his is a little bit off of the grid, but certainly a great facility with some great handmade gear. Guy's an absolute wizard. So we'll post that up so you can check it out. And it's funny, a lot of the guests that we've had here, 6 degrees of separation. Gord, I know you spend a lot of time working with Siggy on various projects over the years, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's a lot of fun to work with, and when you're out there, you can lose yourself in what you're doing, not think about anything, don't have to answer your phone. There's always good food.
Yeah, exactly. Rach cooks it up.
And oh, yeah.
And we were stuffed.
Fantastic.
She made some stuffed peppers, I think, and some scalloped potatoes and whatever else she made. And my God, we were stuffed. It was a great time.
Mr. Meow.
Yeah,
He's fun.
he's a cool fella.
And you get to play with all the toys. There's so many toys there, isn't there, as far as guitars and pedals and gear, and it's fantastic.
Like a kid in a candy store. It's like Disneyland to me.
Yeah.
Hence why I get along with him so well.
Yeah, exactly. You two both have an addiction.
Yeah.
He has an addiction to guitars and hanging guitars on his wall. I think his count's got to be somewhere around 30 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he keeps adding. Actually, it's funny because he keeps adding old guitars that he lost, whether it was through Hawk or, you know, whatever the story is the reason that he ended up losing it. He ends up finding down the road and getting it back
Yeah.
just for pure nostalgia, whether or not he'll actually ever play it. You know, it's
Yeah.
hanging on the wall and he knows it's there, and I'm sure it puts his mind at ease, but it's a pretty impressive collection nonetheless.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm still hunting back down all my basses from when I was younger. I have all my guitars, except for the ones that I just didn't deem that I wanted to keep. Like, basically, you know me, flip, buy, get the one I want. But my basses are the ones that I'm still trying to track down. So I've got the one. I'm going to get the other ones.
And
Right.
Ziggy smells really good.
Tea
He's
tree
a,
oil
he's a
last
smells like
week.
tea
great
tree oil.
smelling producer. Like if you're looking for a good smelling producer, he's one of the best as far as smells go, which helps, you know, when you're being creative.
Well, yeah, because, you know, it's close quarters. And
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
I've had some encounters where I couldn't perform. I was just overwhelmed by the
With
smell, by the smell.
Orifice
Yeah.
combinations.
Yeah.
Maybe you can
That's-
share some stories with us a little later.
Yeah, last time he was here, it was tea tree oil.
Yeah, well, I think
Yeah.
he was hurting a bit. He was
Yeah,
feeling a
he
bit
said he
sick.
was sick. So
So to tee up the program for today, so Gord's joining us. We're going to have him as part of the Indie Spotlight. So the top of the hour at 8 o'clock, we're going to be spinning some music that Gord either recorded himself or with some of the bands that he's been in over the years. And like I said, worked with various producers in the area. And you in your own right are a producer yourself, too. I kind of looked you up a little bit and saw that you've worked with a number of artists from this area.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't plan on it. Just, you know, you have friends in the music world out there, and it's such a small world out there that next thing you know, you're helping out a buddy, or they're helping you out, or they're playing on your track, and that's sort of how it works. And in London, anyway, I've been pretty lucky. Met some really talented people that I met them when they were younger, maybe sometimes, and was there for just maybe a little tiny piece of their, you know, career. And I've seen them go on to great things, and so I've been pretty fortunate enough to see some cool stuff happen out of our own city here from the indie scene, and I love it. You know, I love working with other people and hearing their ideas. So, as a producer, I'd say more like I actually sub out work, try to find a great engineer, a great vibe. You know, just make it easy for bands to record. I'm not really into changing their sound or
Right.
screwing with their music. Just trying to get them to the finish line, and that really helps when you got good people all around you. you
Yeah,
know?
I couldn't agree more. And London is certainly a mecca of
Yeah.
some top talent in Canada. And I've got a couple of cool stories to share with you guys in a bit regarding a recent presentation that was put on by Music Canada here at the London Music Club. So we'll get into that. But before that, we're going to get into some music. We're going to spin a track here. This is George Leach with Carry Me on the London Indie Underground.
Shackles on my feet, I deny everything I see. Strip away the things you say, and you're left with what you do. I'm too scared to walk alone.
George Leach would carry me on
And-
the London Indie Underground.
I just want to say, when it comes to George Leach,
Yeah,
I don't really give a shit who you are.
Yeah.
If you can think that that's crap,
yeah,
you're fucked. Like that is crafted. Like that song is
that's
like,
well done.
That's just a craft. It's like I hear it and I'm just like, I just don't get like.
I need to get my hands on that album. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
it's-
would certainly like to
that's-
spin some more.
That's the guy that Joel brought around, right?
That's
Like
correct. Yeah,
Every time I hear that track, I'm just like, that is such a well crafted
Where
song.
where is he from?
George Leach. He's from out west.
Oh, West, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah. So
nice.
And doesn't he shies away from it all, doesn't he? Like, isn't that the story with him? He's just kind
yeah.
of meh.
Well, apparently, I think here's how the story goes. So, Joel happened to be at went to see a show with I think it was the guys from not Fu Manchu. Oh goodness.
But either way,
Anyway, he was at a show with some buddies that they used to tour with, and it was a well-known band. The name escapes me at the moment, and they happened to be playing with George Leach.
Oh,
So after the show was all said and done, they retired back to one of the guys' houses, and he had a exquisite setup in the basement, a bunch of instruments, and so George happened to be there, and how did you describe it? So he was going through all these instruments, he could play everything, and he said, if there was a ukulele there, the ukulele was looking for a cigarette after he was done with it because this guy just fucked everything, So he tuned us into him, and obviously great sound. So
Yeah.
looking
Nice.
forward to getting that, and I'm really surprised. CanCon, I'm surprised that we haven't heard that on commercial radio yet, but maybe it's just a matter of time, right? We kind of get in here at grassroots level,
Yep.
and in some cases before, sometimes we premiere stuff here. So, you like to see things take legs.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that that's a band that we'll definitely see in the future here, and hopefully in the London market.
totally should. It's just
Yeah.
like that, the one Stalefish track around the
Around
one-
the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you hear it, you're like, that's solid. Like that's a solid track. You can't knock it. You can't. It's just well written. It's crafted. It's a nice sounding recording. It's
Thanks, man.
It's there. But just me, you know what I mean. But that's like this Leach line. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, it's spot on. It's not aggressive. It's not going to make you get like, all like, yeah, I'm ready to go rage for a bit. You know what I mean? But you can sit there and you can't knock it.
Oh, it's a song that you can sing along to.
Yeah,
You know
just
what I
sit
mean?
back.
You're driving in your car.
Yeah, drive down the country
off,
road
going
kind of
to
deal.
Get your groceries.
Yeah. Or hey, just driving through the country with the top down, crank that thing up. It's a movie soundtrack, really, right? But it's a good sound. It's a good sounding track.
Speaking of Stalefish, their new album is now available on iTunes. Those of you that have been following the London Indie Underground will know that Stalefish, we just wrapped up production here in the Vault Recording Studio there. The recent CD, Stalefish been around this market for 10 years and really built quite the name for themselves. And really a big point of pride for me in working with them on this disc because it turned out really well. It's available on iTunes right now. You can stream it through their Bandcamp page. We'll be featuring a track here coming up pretty soon, and the hard copies of the discs should be made available before the end of January. We're working to get them in here to do a live podcast. It's a bit difficult because a couple of their members live out of town, so to try to coordinate with everybody, it's a bit tough. But we'll certainly have them here in the studio for a live performance, and maybe serves as a CD release function, perhaps not. But we'll find out. That said, I do know they have a show coming up at the end of the month in Toronto at the Bovine Sex Club. We'll post that up for any of our listeners that happen to be in that market that would like to go and check them out. They're a fantastic band. You definitely want to catch them live. So I want to switch gears here for a second, and I want to talk about this event that happened because I think it's a real important milestone for London. So last week I had the opportunity and was invited to attend a presentation that was hosted by Music Canada at the London Music Club. Here in London, and the London Music Club is a great little club where they showcase a lot of blues and jazz musicians, and it's a sit down club that you go like a dinner club, right? And it was the perfect venue to host this sort of thing. And so Music Canada came in and they did a presentation to London City Council. Deb Matthews that was there, and her constituents. The mayor was there, and a great cross-section of musicians and promoters and people really interconnected with the London music scene. And this presentation was based on a case study that was done in Austin, Texas. Now, Austin, Texas has a population of approximately 820,000, so just a shade over double the size that London is. Geographically, I don't know, but certainly population-wise. And I think this is going back to 2000. At the time, they knew that there was an abundance of talent in the market. And so Austin decided to put a business plan into place to bolster the music industry, realizing there was a lot of opportunity for potential and profit and growth. And as a result of this business plan, within a 5-year period, they ended up growing their local music industry from about $600 million to $1.6 billion. So $1 billion worth of growth in 5 years based on this business plan that they put into place.
Nice.
So what they did is they took this case study and they went into depth with it to find out some of the specifics, everything from number of venues that are available, average ticket prices, the music genres, you name it. They kind of spanned every detail that you can imagine. And they want to implement something like that here in London because they realize that London is a mecca of music. It's a hub. We have music industry arts and OE art, which are two of the more recognized programs as far as music productions. And musicians flock to London as a result of those programs, and many of them end up staying here because of things like cost of living. It's very affordable here. Networking, certainly some opportunities. But that said, London does realize that there's a lot of things that they need to do to support the music industry. We certainly could use some more venues. There's a lot of planning that goes into this. So the study was great. They gave us a detailed breakdown. And the reason I ended up getting involved with this was I was part of a documentary that was put together as a presentation to dovetail onto the presentation from Music Canada that was shown to the City Council, the Arts Council, and the question was posed: what can London do to support the music scene? And here at London Indie Underground, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to support, by playing music and promoting our local talent. And I really had a lot to say about this. I was really passionate about it. So I kind of, I felt bad for some of the others that were sitting in the room with me because I kind of took over the mic. But we went into this detailed thing, and they, were really impressed with what I had to say. But it was, for me, it was just in my wheelhouse. So I just felt very comfortable. So that said, as a result of that, I got invited to go to this presentation. And it's in its infancy. Obviously, there's still a lot to do. But on the surface, it looks like, the people with the ability to facilitate change are interested in supporting a program like this. And I couldn't be more excited because I think that's what London needs. Gord, you've been around these parts for a long time, so you've, seen an evolution and maybe in some senses a de-evolution of our music scene here. I guess this will kind of dovetail onto you, but when did you get your start here in terms of the music industry? I think that'd be a great place to tee this thing up.
I moved here in 1986, and I started playing music with a cover band out of this city in 87, and went out on the road for a year straight, where you could play Monday to Saturday, 3 sets a night, and off to the next city, and you just never came home. And that's a great way to get your chops together.
For sure.
We came back and went from being a cover band to an original band, and from there just evolved into different projects. But that became Blue Bones, and we started playing, late 80s into the 90s, and ended up touring quite a lot across the country, and playing Toronto, playing Detroit a lot. It's a great, we can get to Detroit so quickly from here. We sort of made it a home base for a while, as well as Toronto, and then go out to the West Coast. And so, back then I would say there was probably more places to play that would pay you well.
Yeah.
Even the Electric Banana, a small little club holds 85 people. They could afford to pay you pretty good or give you the door. There's a lot of ways that, and but the clubs had more money because people would go out more and support live entertainment, I think. But times have changed since then, so there's just more to do, I think. People have more choices with computers and all the fun stuff we can do without leaving the house now. But culturally, like I just think a lot of people went out more. There was always lineups down the street, and you play a club on a Friday just doing covers. There could be 1,000 people there.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're up on stage and you're hearing 1,000 people applauding. Like meanwhile, you're doing Maiden and Judas Priest songs. Yeah. But you had pyro and lasers and all the cheesy rock stuff, and you traveled with your own lights and PA, and you don't see that at all anymore. So. I left home at 17 and joined traveling bands and never looked back.
So
Yeah.
what was it about London that brought you here?
I got married really young. I met a beautiful woman back then, and I was bouncing all over the world back in those days. So came here, got married, had a beautiful daughter, and that became my home base from that point on. But I always went back out on the road and came home, and back out on the road and came home, and it was always London, that was my home since then.
So culturally, what would you say, apart from obviously people having more to do? You mentioned about the internet and
Yeah.
what would you say culturally as far as the musicians' culture has changed from then to now?
I think a lot of the new young musicians are playing even better because they have access to incredible tools to learn how to get really skilled real
Right.
quick when they're young. And things have just improved, like the technology, the ability to record at home at a professional capacity. There's just so much abundance of creativity and good talent out there now. In the old time when I was, say, a teenager, you had to go to a recording studio, and it was a big deal. You had to book the time, save the
Yeah.
money. Now you can do it at your house, and of course, it's wise to get it finally fixed and mixed, or with somebody really good like a Ziggy or a Dan Broadbeck or somebody like that, or even to record with them if is worth it, because it is better in the end too sometimes. But so I think a lot of that's just internalizing. People are doing a lot of stuff at home, and it's tougher to go out on the road because you kind of have to pay for everything yourself now. I love playing. I still play live, just purely out of the love of it and the fun of it. But when I do a show, I'm paying my gas. I'm sometimes paying guys in my band who are kind enough to play with me. Last year I had a live touring band, and they were really great guys, and they were kind enough to put up with my demands and what I wanted to do in the show. But I would pay them whenever I could too. So shows are expensive. It cost me $500-600 sometimes just to go out and do an hour show somewhere. But
Right.
so that's what I see different about it, is now I spend $500 to go play because I give a shit. I want to do a good show.
Right.
Whereas back in the old days, I'd get $1,000 to go play and take home $500.
Yeah. And
So-
and I mean back then like you said you were playing covers too, right?
Well, when we started, yeah.
Yeah.
But even, as an original band, we got paid once. Not that it's about money, but just as an example, we played originals at a club here once in the 90s and got like $5,000,
Wow.
Because if we could fill the place, it made sense to the promoter. He didn't care,
Right.
as long as the place was full. But I think the London music scene's healthy, great. There's some great venues here still. Call the Office, what Brandon Eady has going on, and there's some really great places for bands to play, and it's just a matter of and I'm not 19, so I'm not out at a lot of those shows sometimes. I'd like to be at a lot of them, but I think that London's got a great music scene right now.
I think, I'm with you on that, because I moved here for the music scene.
Yeah.
And when I got here, it was dead.
Yeah.
And I came here around the same time Jim came.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, and the scene was pretty hurting at that point.
Yeah.
But I think what's happening, and especially with the work, even with what Brandon's doing, on his just he's basically, in my opinion, rejuvenating a scene and
Yeah,
getting
it's
people
an
wanting to
absolute
come here
scene.
again.
Mhm.
And it's and then with stuff like the show, the London Indie Underground stuff, and everything that everybody's trying to do together, I'm finding more of a camaraderie of
Yeah.
bands getting together, saying, no, we can do this. And as much as there's the clubs out there that are doing stuff and trying to, I think they're also starting to kind of say, okay, if we should be treating these guys better, because, the bottom line is, it's you're not going to go really support a club as much if they don't treat you right. So it's oh, well, we played that club and the guy stiffed us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going there to buy beer from him.
That's right.
I'll be the dickhead that's going to basically snick the Mickey in under my arm or whatever, just so I
Mm-hmm.
can drink there. But I'm not paying for his booze if he's going to screw me around. So I'm finding that more of the bar owners and the clubs
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and thanks to Brandon again, because he's basically driving the ship, is kind of working so everybody can be taken care of. And,
Yeah.
people walk out
It's
of it.
it's
kinda
tough
going,
out there, but I
It
mean,
is.
if you want to play live, you can do it, and depends what your motives are,
Yeah.
I've had people say to me, "Oh, you should have been famous and stuff," and I think, well, thanks for the compliment. I guess that's a compliment, but how do they know that was even a goal? You know, then you hear like bands like Nirvana, they never were concerned or interested in being famous.
Right, it was just
Yet
a
they became
byproduct,
the
huh?
biggest thing since the Beatles, you know.
And their curse.
Yeah.
You know, like
I just did music because it came naturally and I loved it. And
Yeah.
I loved to party. And it was I just partied and did music all my life. And
Amen.
that's it.
Can I jump in here? Just say, as kind of the young gun of this group here, I'm probably 10 years younger than everyone in this room, but that's okay.
Saying I'm old.
Yeah. When I was 17, you know, we were using Pro Tools after
Yeah.
school, coming home from high school, and it wasn't as so much to get, you know, out on the records or on the radio. It was just to build our song writing, you know. It was to be able to say, yes, this is how we, you know, master and do all these types of things. And it was the learning experience, and that's all it's been so far. And as far as the camaraderie in London, you know, I work with bands in this kind of complex in here, A New Beginning, Searching for Satellites, Jettison Commitment. We just want to, we're striving towards the same goal. You know,
Yeah.
there are things like the Southern Ontario Metal Fest, which is in Port Burwell, which we've played 2 years now. And it's just kind of, we're all working towards the same goal. We all just want to be recognized and get our own kind of piece of the pie. And we all want to see each
Yeah.
other excel and get into that same kind of level as each other and grow as musicians. It's not about, you know, the merch sales or the money or the tours.
Yeah.
It's just, I just want to play on stage and I
You
want
love it.
somebody to come watch me play.
Yeah.
You know, there's something like the NHL lockout and people are getting upset and, you know, those people are making millions of dollars. Well, what about the struggling musicians who are practicing 2 times a week and playing shows for 30 people every week? You know, what
Yeah.
about us? Let's get our piece of the pie, and you know, we deserve it. We all
Yeah.
work really hard.
Absolutely.
And we
and I think
you know,
to bring it full circle, I think this ties in directly with what the plan is, or at least what the proposed plan is, to try to bolster our music scene. Because there are a lot of fantastic musicians. I mean, I've been to Call the Office on nights when there's been 10 people there.
Yeah.
To a band that is kick-ass.
I saw Rival Sons there with 4 people.
There you go.
I
Perfect
bought their
example.
CDs off the singer. They were homemade CDRs with hand stickers. And, you know, a year later, not even a year later, they're playing to hundreds of thousands of people over in
Exactly.
Europe.
Exactly.
And they were just fucking amazing. I stood there like I was watching The Who or Led Zeppelin. It was just mind-numbing.
Real throwback, right?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. That whole
Great.
movement and that whole sound is really making a surge right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to your point exactly, there's a lot of great musicians playing here that are not able to draw money from the amount of effort that they put into their craft. And I'm in the same boat, too. I play music because I love to play music. And if you
Exactly.
happen to like it and you want to buy it, awesome.
Yeah.
And if not, that's okay, too. But that's not, my motivation isn't to sell you something.
Well, it's interesting because when we were younger, right, you could get a record deal. That's kind
Yeah.
of like today you could, but what's the fucking point? Like, unless it's Pink's record deal, or who are the 5 that are always on the Grammys? Pink and
Beyonce.
Taylor Swift, and you know
Yeah.
they're all that little group. They're barely hanging on that little pocket of. But you know, back then you could get lucky and win the lottery, and then you'd be on Much Music. Like we ended up on Much Music as an indie band with a deal with A&M, like a licensing thing. And so we got to host Much Music, still independent, and you know, come out and meet people and sign autographs and play the whole music role to its fullest. But that's not there anymore. Like it was in the 90s. Like if you were a band from London like Gandharvas, it could make a video, it could get played, and it was fantastic. And now it's tougher, I think, for bands. And but
It really is. The landscape has really changed.
Protest the Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not as much money in the industry. Just to your point, people aren't going to shows anymore, and people aren't willing to invest the money. I mean, I remember it was always a point of excitement for me when I would go to a show. We'd crash the merch booth because I wanted
Yeah.
the newest CD.
Yeah.
I wanted, they come out with the what is it, like the special versions that they sell only at the shows. They
Yeah.
give those special cuts
Yeah.
or live stuff or bootleg, right? I'm like,
Bewares.
ooh, well, that's the stuff I want. And the great tour shirts and whatnot. And nowadays, I mean, it's just so easy for people to, a couple of clicks and they've got your stuff, right?
Yeah. And it's
So-
even the tour shirts, like the same tour shirt that
Yeah.
you see at the show that the band's asking like $65 for.
Yeah.
You know, like 2 weeks after they're like, not even 2 weeks after. It's like in some situations, 2 weeks before they're even there. Hot Topic has that exact T-shirt, and you're
it's on a
paying
boat
like
from China.
yeah, it's like you're paying $25 for it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there's the special things, and I was the same. I would stand in line at the merch booth.
Right.
Just to get whatever I could get at that point, you know what I mean? Like, because it was cool. You could get something that nobody else had, and it kind of added to your excitement of the show, you know.
Right.
But now you can get it everywhere. It's not the same.
Well, here's hoping that this whole program that they want to put into place is about creating awareness for the casual listener and for the fan who will go out and invest the money in shows and invest the money in music. And music industry is survived by those people that come out and are, you know, scene people that want to be at that show and want to support that band and want a street team for that band, right? Because word of mouth, I think, is one of the best endorsements and the best way, you know, to get people to come to a show. How many times have you had people come up to you and say, "Hey, man, have you seen these guys play before? You need to go and check them out. Dude, you need to check out this band," right? And there's something really compelling about that. You know, I mean, you can see a lot of advertisements that say, "Yeah, download the new Taylor Swift song." Whatever. But when somebody tells you, you know, there's a band that played the Call the Office, man, next time they go, you need to check them out. They blew my mind. Right?
Music has that power, doesn't it? You
It
know,
certainly does.
there's bands in London I grew up listening to that when I hear them today, I still think, wow, you know, like Buffalo Brothers, they had some great stuff when they put their album out. And I don't know if you remember a band called SFH. That singer went on to become Bob Noxious.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But Sam fucking Hain, they were called. They were a great metal band that used to play here. And, you know, what I've noticed is I did recordings back then. You know, you're trying your hardest. You've got your record coming out on, you know, our album came out on A&M, so we were really nervous recording. And then our first video was like, oh, boy, you know, this is it, you know. And that all came to an end. That was over 20 years ago. And I kept doing music ever since, just out of the love of it, of course. But what I found was when I took a bit of a break from music, about 10 years actually, and I came back to it just out of natural, you know, need to play. And because of the internet and social networking, which wasn't around in 1994, what's amazing to me is all the people who knew of our bands back then that followed us that we had no way of knowing. That guy from Hamilton, that girl from Barrie, that other guy who now lives in Italy, that girl from Saskatchewan, they're starting to find you. And you're getting these emails every day from, I remember you in Blue Bones, I had your CD, or this. And so that was the nice part. So, you know, for you recording now, what I got to see going full circle is, as long as you're making music. And it's available to the world out there on the big worldwide internet there, people will find you. The music will find its own home sometimes. And it was just really nice, though, for all these years later, for people that wanted to finally connect with you to say, you know what, I remember seeing you in 1995. It was amazing. I still play your CD, and you're like, great to hear. Never knew you existed. You know, where do you live? You know, we're in Texas now. And so you get, you know, music just has that beautiful thing about it where it connects us, you know.
And to your point exactly, the next band that I'm going to play is a band, The Salads.
Fantastic
which
band.
I saw The Salads in, I think it was either 99 or 2000 when I first moved here. And I went to see Zool's Evil Disco. Do you remember them?
Yes, I do.
Because I have buddies that played in Zool's Evil Disco.
Yeah.
I play with Ajay, who's in Two Crown now. And so I went to see Zool's on the referral from some of my friends that were from back home. And The Salads were opening up the show.
Yeah.
And wow, I mean, Dave Zimba and Grant Taylor were, as far as I was concerned, there was no better for guitar and drums. Like that, it ended right there.
Pretty good.
And and I've stuck with them all these years and kind of watched their evolution. And there's a band that they were signed to a label.
Oh, yeah.
They were on Kindling, and they had a release. I mean, at one point, you'd go to a hockey arena and you'd hear "Get Loose" in the arena. I turn on my TV and there's a Labatt commercial.
There it
featuring Get
is.
Loose. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know, the times have changed. I mean, they came out with a new disc, and I know they were shopping it around, and it's a lot more difficult nowadays to procure money from an industry that's not willing to take chances anymore. They want singles. They want single songs,
and you know the funny, and they don't develop bands, and like there'd be no Eagles today or Supertramp. They never would have signed that kind of band.
No, the supergroups are done, man.
You know, but the funny part is this: like you and I and all of us here must have some friends or acquaintances that are either famous or have a cousin who's famous, or you know, I've grown up and met people over the years that went on to become famous, and or bands that I loved as a kid that I got to meet once I got older and got on the road. And the really only artists with money are like Anne Murray and the Tragically Hip and Our Lady Peace, you know. Nobody has any money. You know, I've got friends with gold and platinum records all over their walls, and they're broke. So we all ended up in the same place anyway. So whether or not Joe Blow was perceived by society as famous or not doesn't really matter. So the point is, make your music, have fun, and let it be a journey, because you don't know where it's going to take you. Even if you're the biggest thing in the world for a couple of years, you know, it doesn't mean it's going to last, and it doesn't mean you're going to make a living at it. But just be grateful for it when it comes, and have fun while you're doing it, right? Because it's
Couldn't agree more, man. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to some music here. So this is a little ditty called Boombox by the Salads here on the London Indie Underground.
Turn it up now, yeah. Turn it up. Stepping outside, it's summertime. Everybody's feeling fine. Yeah, we got the weed and the wine while we feel the sunshine. Hear the music in the heat, keeps you moving on your feet. Let me see you rock to the rhythm of the reggae beat. Then I'm back with my feet in the sand, her road and cold one in hand. The music is loud and we're singing again. Chilly with our boombox, yeah. Everybody's jamming to the boombox, yeah. Got the boom tunes on the boombox, yeah. Get your man a scotch on the rocks and just turn up your boombox. Chilly with our boombox, yeah. Everybody's jamming to the boombox, yeah. Got the boom tunes on the boombox, yeah. Get your man a scotch on the rocks and just turn up your boombox. Hear the waves crash to the shore. When I see them break again, you know then I grab my board. No, I can't contain, gonna lose my brain if I can't write a little more. Please let me play a little more. You know I wish I was back there again, where the summer never ends, and just kick back and play tracks for all my friends. Chilly with our boombox, yeah. Everybody's jamming to the boombox, yeah. Got the boom tunes on the boombox, yeah. Get your man a scotch on the rocks and just turn up your boombox. Chilly with our boombox, yeah. Everybody's jamming to the boombox, yeah. Got the boom tunes on the boombox, yeah. Get your man a scotch on the rocks and just turn up your boombox. We're chilly with Dylan and Molly, so shake down 'cause it's a pop party. Go back out to rock out with Van Halen, running with the devil on the old boombox again. And it never go wrong with some fishbone, some old P-funk for your trunk. Always got the song. Oh, how they all shine like stars for me. Don't have to all drop big cars for me. Don't have to act all bizarre, you see. Stay on my boombox, ride with me. Just stay on my boombox, talk to me. Just stay on my boombox. Chilly with a boombox, yeah. Everybody's jamming to the boombox, yeah. Got the boom tunes on the boombox, yeah. Get your man a scotch on the rocks and just turn up your boombox. Chilly with a boombox, yeah. Everybody's jamming to the boombox, yeah. Got the boom tunes on the boombox, yeah. Get your man a scotch on the rocks and just turn up your boombox. Boom, 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 yeah. Turn up your boom.
Boombox by the Salads here on the London Indie Underground. The Merkin-free London Indie Underground.
Today it's Merkin free.
I'm Jimmy James, broadcasting you from the Vault Recording Studio, joined always by my co-host Gary Begner. I'm joined today by Gord Pryor and Mike from Divine Right of Kings. So we were doing a bit of chatting offline, Gord, and I understand you have a bit of a colorful past when it comes to some of the road stories. And you know, one of the things that you mentioned that was really compelling in some perverse way was back in maybe it was the late 80s, and you were mentioning every city had on a corner had a rock club or a music club, and then a strip club across the corner.
Or in the same building.
In the same building.
Oshawa,
Yeah.
Oshawa
Sudbury
had the rock-
still does.
Oshawa had the rock club and the strip club.
Yeah,
same time.
every city did. So, you know, kids today are on Pro Tools and they're honing their craft, right? And back then we would just go pay someone to do that because we were on the road and we didn't have that back then. But we were definitely honing our craft at other things. Like rolling perfect joints and, you know, how many girls, you know, we could all score back then. And it really was, over the years, you know, I've read Slash's book and some of the stuff that's out there, like, and it was like that back then. For these Canadian bands that were on the road, week after week, day after day, there was some pretty wild parties, and the strippers stayed upstairs where we stayed, and we were 19, and spandex, lipstick, makeup, long hair, no shirts, and the strippers, you know, they liked to party, and a lot of them were from Quebec, and last call was 1 o'clock in the morning, and by 2 o'clock we had our own show starting upstairs, so you learned real quick how to help girls with their piercings.
So
and they fed you. They fed you.
Oh, they did? I bet.
Well, it was a symbiotic relationship. We were kind and treated them good. We were fun to hang out with and young and full of cum, and they had lots of money, and they used to take us out and buy us clothes and jewelry and food. That was a big thing on the road. We didn't have food or anything, so all our spandex pants and all that stuff back then was purchased by dancers. And that's how we lived, you know, really. People don't talk about it, but that was the Canuck. We drank beer, smoked dope, played night after night, and every town there was girls that were strippers that would come to our shows and help take care of us. On to the next town.
That's amazing.
It was
you can only
amazing.
hope for so much nowadays.
I think I need a new girlfriend.
Yeah. We didn't have girlfriends back then.
No, you couldn't have a girlfriend in that. Definitely not. Or either that or a really understanding one.
Yeah.
I don't think that exists, though.
or that, or one that just was so clueless
Yeah.
that anything could go at that point.
So, Gord, I know you spent a lot of time on the road, and you alluded to earlier that you had some brushes with some relatively known names in the music industry. And
well, when you're as old as me, you know, and you don't stop doing what you love, you end up meeting a lot of people. It's a small world. So yeah, you know, we used to hang out with, all of us hung out with Sebastian Bach when he was young, and he was on welfare, lived on Queen Street, he used to sing his balls off at the Gasworks in Rock and Roll Heaven, and we all played the Gasworks. I was actually the last band to ever play the Gasworks, which was a famous bar downtown Toronto. Legendary place, and we were the last band to ever play there. It was reopened after that, but officially when they first, you know, cut that line and said it's closed, we were the band that was playing there, unfortunately. But you know, watched his rise to success, which was really, really cool, and just remember him, you know, as a young guy before he was famous, and then I met him about, I don't know how many years later. They were doing Subhuman Race out in Vancouver with Bob Rock, and we were out there with Kim Mitchell, and I got his hotel room number and just knocked on his door. I hadn't seen him since he was famous and on the cover of Rolling Stone and all that stuff. And I wanted to see, hey, will he remember me from the old days? You know, now he's this huge rock star.
Right.
Sure enough, let me in the door. He had track pants on. He had Labatt's Blue in the fridge, great big water bong on the counter, and a couple of loudspeakers, played me mixes all afternoon, sang right in front of me to my face, full on, and smoked pot. Like, it was just an incredible afternoon. And went back to my hotel after. I said to the guys, you're not going to believe what I just did all day, you know. And so it was fun, you know. Being on the road is fun. And I've seen a lot of funny stuff happen out there.
Sebastian Bach, recently I saw some pictures of him online, and I remember he kind of went through a stage, like he was super skinny and
Yeah.
like a rail, and then he kind of,
Bloated out
bloated
from
right
beer.
up. Yeah, beer and probably Coke or whatever
Then he lost
else.
weight again.
Yeah, now he's all thin again.
The thing about Sebastian is he's the same guy now as he was then. Like, a lot of us have changed. You have to. But I don't think he's changed. He's just a wild, crazy guy, and that's what we love about him, or
Great sense of
hate
humor.
about him, I guess.
I mean, he was on Trailer Park Boys. Did you see that?
Yeah, I
You
went
got
to their
bees in this weed. This weed has bees in it.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to go to the movie premiere for that because I was producing a band called Helix, a Canadian
Oh, yeah.
legendary band, and they were in the movie, or Brian was, and their song Heavy Metal Love, which I re-recorded to get the rights back to help them out. So I met Alex Lifeson there, and Thornley played with Alex, and the Trailer Park Boys, and Brian
cool.
and Helix played.
Oh, wow.
So that was a fun night.
Yeah, I bet.
And I got one night Brian Vollmer from Helix called me. He flew out east to do his part with Alex Lifeson in the Trailer Park Boys movie. And he called me because his wife wasn't home, and he goes, I got to tell you, I'm here right now live. You're not going to believe what's happening. I had to call you, Gord, because no one's going to believe me unless I tell them, like what's going on. He goes, I'm at a private bar that Bubbles owns. We're filming tomorrow for their second movie. And this party's just out of control. Alex Lifeson is like wiping out tables, knocking shit over. He goes, I think they're all on ecstasy. I'm not sure, but for Vollmer to call me, this guy toured with Motorhead and Kiss and all
Right, so
over.
he's seen some
He was
shit,
just, he couldn't believe the scene. He gets off the plane, gets picked up in a limo. They burn a big fat joint in the limo, take him to Bubbles Bar, and the party's just going. And the next day they shoot the show, and they're all hungover.
You know what? I think that's a not uncommon theme for those guys.
They really
every
party
town
hard.
they go to, man, they party hard. And I know Bubbles always endorses some, a drink that you drink like after a night of drinking.
Yeah,
and you drink
yeah.
it at the end of the night so that the next day it promotes like recovery.
So you can start all over
Yeah,
again.
yeah, because they are a rolling party on wheels.
Yeah, Rush. Are you guys Rush fans?
Yeah,
That's a
very much so. Yeah,
true story. I was going up north to Sudbury. You're from North Bay.
that's right.
And I pulled into that McDonald's just outside of Barrie with the underpass where you might
Yeah.
get your gas.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, so I go in there with my whole family. They're ordering some of that food, and I think, oh, got to go back out to the van. I forgot something. And before we pulled in, we were listening to Rush on Q107 or something, and I just cranked it. And I'm saying, listen to the bass, listen to the bass. Oh, the drums, listen to the bass. And everyone in the van's tolerating me, and I'm just having a Rush freak-out moment.
Right.
And the day before, I was playing All the World's a Stage on vinyl. I love vinyl. I collect a lot of it. And it was Rush as well, and everyone's screaming at me in the house, turn that shit down, And but I love it. So nonetheless, I'm blasting Rush as we pull into the McDonald's, get in there, get everyone settled. I go back out to my car to grab something. I look up, and there's Geddy fucking Lee standing right there. He's wearing black Converse like these, mine are red. And he's got a dog, and he's taking it for a piss break, and he's got his whole family in the car.
No way.
And I'm just like, and he's dressed, he looks just like he would on stage, skin tight, little black jeans and the runners. And so I just said, hey, is that a schnauzer? I didn't know what to say. So I just started talking dog talk, and I got a dog, you're walking your dog and you see someone with a dog and you talk about dogs. I go, oh, we have a schnauzer at home. Is that a schnauzer, And he just kind of looks at me, and he was very standoffish. So I said, listen, I'm good friends with Andy Curran. He works at your management company, SRO. And I said, I'm going to your show in London. And I said, would you be kind? I actually, I cheesed out and asked for an autograph. I had to. It was
Yeah.
Geddy Lee, man.
Yeah.
Of course.
It was Geddy Lee. So there you go. That's my Geddy Lee story.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we all love Rush.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier you were going to tell that story, and I didn't know if it was going to be like a story of debauchery or.
No, well,
but
I
instead
got
you're asking
nothing on
about a
him. No.
schnauzer.
Alex,
That's great.
though, they're not straight arrows. Those guys.
No,
they're
definitely not.
they're intellectual, but they're loose partiers too. I think. Eh?
Well, I think
Why?
Geddy's. I mean, he smokes a lot of weed, right? That's
Does
his
he?
Thing. Geddy Lee, yeah.
I'm sure. You can't be that good and not smoke weed. I don't know anybody.
I know in the day they used to, they used to haul a lot of weed.
Yeah.
Like on stuff, like when they were recording and stuff. Just from all the stories I've heard of them, they used to really burn a lot. Now, pretty much more laid back.
Yeah.
Wine connoisseurs like Lyson, I think, has his own. Well, he collects like a lot of wine.
Yeah.
But he's gotten himself into a lot of trouble.
He has.
Yeah, but they just it's interesting, right? Like if it was in the States, it would be all over the place.
Yeah.
But there was a
Are
time.
they not the biggest band in the world to you right now? Who's bigger than Rush in the rock world, really? As far as numbers, record sales, concert sales, they're up there. Like they did number 2 at Billboard this year at their debut of their album.
Yeah.
A concept record. It just floors me.
For a band that that's still going, and I'm not like the Who, when they do something new, it's it's going to be like just crap, right? Because they don't have that.
Oh yeah.
They don't have the angst that they used to have.
No.
And we've had the discussion before. Sometimes like the Stones, just don't do it anymore, please. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I've heard it. Whereas they keep changing. They
Yeah,
keep
the new
evolving
Rush
like
album is the first album I've bought since Moving Pictures.
Yeah, but it's fantastic.
They grabbed me again.
Yeah.
I was like, uh-oh.
That was the same with me when I heard it. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
here
good.
we go again.
It
Like, I'm
resurged
in.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to answer that, no, I don't think there's a bigger band that's still proving that they can still do it. They're still important.
I'm so proud of them as a Canadian export. Like,
Yep.
that's really a true thing for us. That's really something to be proud of.
Well, plus the genre that they play. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a relatively obscure
and the level of
sound.
musicianship,
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
the longevity, the
Yeah, it's all
integrity,
there.
the humor. There's everything there,
I saw them play at the John Labatt Center.
Yeah.
You were probably at that
Yeah,
show,
I
too.
was at that.
And, Geddy Lee doesn't play through an amplifier. He plays through a pedal board,
Yeah.
which goes directly into the board, and then he just monitors back through his monitors
Mm-hmm.
on stage. But behind him, he had washing machines.
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and then he had it was a barbecue, like a rotisserie barbecue
Yeah.
thing, but he had like a stagehand that would come out and open up the thing, and he would
Yeah.
be basting the chicken.
Basting,
Yeah.
yeah. See, that's Canadian, eh? We don't
Yeah.
take ourselves
Was
seriously.
it back bacon? That's when you know it's Canadian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
That was a great show, though, and yeah, they blew me away. I mean, it was one of those bands that, you think that, okay, well, they're a bit older, and they've been through a lot, and I wonder how the show's going to be.
Yeah.
But they were still great, and they played some stuff a little bit slower. It was funny. I remember seeing a video. Foo Fighters was playing a show, and
Yeah.
Yes.
so it was Geddy and Alex that had come
That's
out
right.
to see them play,
Yeah.
and so they ended up getting up on stage, and they ended up playing YYZ
Yeah.
with Taylor Hawking, right?
Yeah.
So when Taylor
At
Hawking,
lightning speed.
yeah, exactly, and they're looking back like at Taylor, like, holy fuck, I don't think I can keep up this pace. And
Yeah.
then Geddy was like saying my forearm was like Popeye, like,
Yeah.
great show.
Yeah, I saw that. And Taylor, I remember seeing an interview with him after that, just saying like he was like, when it was all said and done at the end of the night, it dawned on him what he did.
Yeah.
And he was just like freaking out. Like,
Yeah.
I just played with my idols. Like, I just played
Isn't that incredible?
the most complicated song they've written besides La Villa, the
Yeah.
Strangiato.
Yeah, La Villa.
Yeah. But he was like, I can't believe I just jammed live on stage in their hometown.
Yeah, that's up there.
And basically they came out and played with me, and we played and he
Yeah.
said, and I did it.
Yeah.
And he was just like freaking out, like just inside. He was like, when I was there, it's like business. And then it was done. He was just like, I can't fucking believe I just did that. So, it's like those stupid commercials, like, honey, I think we just won Lotto 649. What?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
all that. It's like,
Did anyone catch McCartney with Nirvana?
I did,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live?
I was disenchanted by
Yeah.
that, man.
Did you see which one did you see?
the original that they did?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't even know what it's called. Like it wasn't very.
It's not a
impressionable.
memorable song,
No.
is it?
No.
It was a memorable moment in the bizarre sense of like how bizarre this is to see.
For me, and I made a comment on this before, it was more of a kind of a passing of the torch.
Yeah.
And which is in itself is remarkable because Dave Grohl right now, I don't think there's a bigger rock star.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He's played in so many bands. I mean, FM 96 just had a 50 Shades of Dave Grohl, right? So
Yeah,
the guy's everywhere right now, and he's generally accepted as being one of the nicest guys in rock and roll.
Yeah.
Right? So to see him do something like that and to play with McCartney was great. Although a lot of people are like, whose uncle is on stage with Dave Grohl?
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Get Grandpa off because
Yeah.
some people don't even know. Who
Don't
Paul
even know
McCartney
who
is.
McCartney is, yeah.
But listening to that song, I felt like, yeah, okay, it's a neat jam.
Yeah.
And it's just an E, and there's nothing really special. But it was this sentiment, right? Which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty
and
neat.
to see Chris Novoselic back on stage too. I mean, it'd
He
been a
was
long time.
captivating, I thought.
He really
just to
was,
see
yeah.
him play.
Looks like a lumberjack now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he still
Yeah.
rocks, man. He still got it. All right, well, we're going to spin another track, and then we're going to come back with the Indie Spotlight interview with Gord Pryor. So this is Red, Amber, Green. This is a new track from these guys. We spun the third week in a row. This is a song called Cobwebs and Cardigans on the London Indie Underground.
Cobwebs
Red, Amber, Green, Cobwebs and Cardigans on the London Indie Underground. We've been featuring those guys for a while. We posted up their band page last week, I believe.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Which, I mean, Facebook is a great tool for social networking, but fuck Facebook. They want to charge you now.
Facebook.
They want to charge you money to be able to reach your full audience, right? So,
Yeah.
like on our Facebook page, we have like 400 and some followers.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I post something up, I'm lucky if it reaches 115 to 130
Yeah.
of them. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to get to everybody on your page, you've got to pay per post, like $5 or $6.
Yeah, it was $5 for me to put their link on the page.
Whatever.
How long do you think the average person spends on Facebook a day now?
Too much time.
Honestly, like
Yeah,
couple
1 hour
hours,
a
couple
day,
hours.
a day,
Couple
Yeah,
hours.
a couple hours easily.
couple hours.
Yeah.
Well, in a combination of
Not
sitting at
while
home
traveling or working, like just focused Facebook. That's it.
focused.
Yeah, Facebook only. How
Facebook
many
only,
hours
maybe
a day?
an hour at
Maybe
the most.
an hour at the
Maybe.
most.
An hour a day?
I'm thinking
Yeah.
2 hours cumulative because if you think about all the times that you
Okay.
check your phone during the daytime and posts and whatnot.
So all you people out there that are listening to the show, get your calculator out. Multiply 1 hour times 365 days out of a year.
Yeah.
Divide it by 24. You'll be shocked.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked.
15, 16 days right there.
Yeah.
Well, and the whole thing is like, and to go back to them charging the $5, you figure, okay, so we pay, if we did that and we paid $5 to promote Red Amber Green's link on our site, we paid $5 for something to get flashed onto somebody's timeline for what until it gets buried by cat videos, George Takai.
Yeah.
So there's $5 I just sent away for no
Yeah.
apparent reason. You know what I mean? I understand they got to make money because now they're a publicly traded company, and that is usually the downfall of every giant corporation
Yeah.
is when they become publicly traded because old men with their investments have to make money.
Yeah.
And they still believe that the world should be flipping the money just as quick as they've put it in. So everything, well, we got to charge for that. That's the downfall of like Bell
You know what
Canada.
bands got to do
Yeah.
now, though? All bands, young, old, don't care who you are, collect emails. Always.
Yep.
Don't sell somebody a shirt. If they love you, they're buying a shirt to support you. Give them $5 off and get their email. There's an app you can get from FanBridge. It goes right on your iPod, iPhone, whatever.
Direct marketing.
Yeah. That way, we used to sell shirts and CDs in the old days. That fan really loved you, right? They came, they loved the show. They're out the door with the merch. You never hear from them again. Now you've got their email.
Yep.
Now, if you're not trying to sell them and harass them, you could say, "Hey, it's us again. Here's a video of us jamming last night. It's a 30-second clip, but it's funny or something." And you keep your audience engaged. Right now, there's a different way of doing things. I think that's how you should be doing it, is staying in touch with your fan base. Because now, in the old days, the music industry was centralized, and mainstream music was their niche market, the big times, right? There's no more mainstream. Everyone's moved to the outer fringes because the internet's given us all the ability to be unique beyond our wildest dreams. And so there's no mainstream to shoot for. So find your niche market. Play really good. Do your best. Write good songs. Spend time becoming good at what you do. Don't suck. And then people will like you. And then get their email address. Let them hear a new song. You haven't finished it yet. Send it out into your email group there and say, "Hey, here's a new tune the band's working on. It's not done. Check it out." People they like you, they'll listen, right? And eventually you can start using this to get people to your shows really consistently too, because bands out there that are organized with the social networking are able to tour now and make sure there's people in Sudbury, there's people coming out in North Bay by using email and staying in touch. And if you engage your fans, give them lots of high quality content, like not spam them junk. We record a new track with Ziggy. It's fucking killer.
Or with Jimmy.
Give it to them for free. Email it them. Say, here you go, brand new track, yours. Maybe once that year, though, you press a really cool vinyl disc with a poster, and you add some extra features and a pile of downloads. And you personalize it, and you paint your own album cover. You make it cool. You make it like not just some Photoshop album cover. You really make it rich and content, really like special, like those box sets.
Yeah.
And do like 300-400 of them and number them and sign each one, personalize them, and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm selling these for $75. Well, all those people you've been playing for, and all those people you've been giving free stuff to, and all those people you've been engaging personally, your fan base, and working with them, they'll support you and they'll buy that. So you got 1,000 people in your fan base that'll spend $100 once a year on you. It was $100,000. Now, you could be in big recording bands in the old days, and you didn't make $100,000. You made nothing. You got to be on TV and drive a tour bus and look really cool for a while, but at the end, you were left with this massive bill that you couldn't pay.
Yeah.
But now a band, if you're good, focus on your fans. Just play to them, and even if you've got 100 fans, they'll support you. If each one of them gave you $100, that's $1,000, and they'll give it to you if they see how hard you're working and they genuinely love what you're doing, and if they know you're, serious about it.
You've got to make it compelling, right?
You got to make it
compelling. It comes down to the product.
But I don't think music will ever be exploitable anymore like it was before. And you could argue, people are hemming and hawing all the changes, and we should do it differently. And people are blaming the kids for stealing music. Like, I'm as confused as anybody else. I don't have the answers, but music's also on a higher level used to bring people together on a deep. There's deep meaning in music. You don't have to speak the language to see what bands like U2 can do to a crowd of people in Africa that never heard. It's a powerful medium. So maybe music's headed more to something that's going to help all of us move forward as a society and communicate. I recently heard a speaker saying if all the leaders of the world got together and jammed, before talking about big decisions, if they could learn to play together as a group, to compromise, figure out how to cooperate and make music together, that's the language of love, right? So as it doesn't matter what it is, it speaks to people. That hardcore death metal fan in Sweden, he's feeling it,
Right.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Music is a movement, and people are compelled by movements, and that's when people are going to want to spend money, and it permeates not just music, but the whole scene and fashion and everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we're all musicians, really.
Right.
All
I was a
of us.
90s kid, right? So when I was coming up, 92, 93, 94, it was in that wave of all that Seattle sound hit.
Loved it.
And I mean, people were freaking out.
Yeah.
Now granted, back then we didn't have computers that we could go and download music and whatnot,
Yeah.
but people would line up for that new CD that came out. People were excited about it, and people were like buying Doc Martens like they were going, going to be gone tomorrow, and tying
army
plaids
pants
around your waist, and it created this whole scene, right? This whole movement. It's like overnight.
We were right in the middle of that.
Yeah,
It was a cool time.
and you don't see a lot of that right now. I mean, there's not a lot of those big bands that, or even a city or a movement that creates that level of excitement.
No.
That, that people get caught up in like the tidal wave. You just go with it, and everybody's excited about it. You're not seeing that much anymore. And I think bands are using the tools that are available to them, like YouTube and social networking and all that stuff, to get your stuff out there, because it's a lot more difficult now. But when it comes down to brass tacks, and you hit the nail on the head, and even Dan Broadbeck said the same thing when he was here. He says, make sure your stuff is good. Practice your music.
Yeah. Don't suck.
There's too many bands out there right now to mail it in, And if your sound is loose punk music, that's cool. Just, make sure that when you come out and you present yourself, you're presenting yourself with professionalism.
Yeah.
Even if, your scene is, maybe it's the metal scene. I know Divine Right of Kings, you guys are pretty heavy, right? But you guys, I listen to you guys upstairs, and you guys are rehearsing a couple of nights a week and making sure that every I's dotted and T is crossed, so that when you play, you know exactly what you're doing and how you're going to present yourself, right? That's what people need to do.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, you can't take that for granted, right? Because people can tell the difference. They know the difference when they see a band that, in between songs. Are you just standing around looking at each other? Well, what are we
That's a
doing
pet
now?
peeve.
Or do you have like?
Is it a show?
Yeah, are songs fading into each other? Are you guys looking at each other for cues? Are you guys paying attention, or are you off kind of doing your own thing? Are you playing together, or are you just going through the motions? People pick up on those nuances, right? And that's what makes the difference between bands, in my opinion.
See, I think you're very right about that. The audience can feel too if the band is trying too hard or not being themselves. And trust me, I went through all those awkward phases. You play so much that you spend most of your career really sucking and learning how to get better, and losing your voice on the road, and singing out of key, and dealing with being sick, and not going over crowds throwing bottles at you. Like, we saw all of that stuff on the road, and bikers and brawls and crazy shit was going on. So it was dangerous, but you are forced to learn to get better. And I couldn't have done anything that I did in the past without the musicians I was lucky enough to play with. Like in Blue Bones, all the musicians in that band took it very seriously. They practiced, they worked really hard. And all the recording projects I've been in, thanks to the musicians that were kind enough to be a part of it with me, and the producers that were around. London has got some fantastic people, so that's what made it so much fun, was working with guys like Dan Broadbeck. Like, for crying out loud, you're working with the best right there, and
No question.
you know, he hits the play button and you just have to strap your seatbelt on. Right? Same with Ziggy, and you know, it's a nice thing to have that at your disposal. And I played with like some of the best musicians around here, and they're still playing. You know, Archie Gamble, Stan, Jeff Fountain, Boris Novosel, Barry Donahue, who was in Harem Scarum after Blue Bones, and you know, Steve Georgikopoulos, too. Like, some great players. If I've left anybody out, I apologize. Steve Thomas. I think that's, you know, a good bunch of them there. But
You brought us a bunch of songs today, Gordon.
yeah.
So I've got, and this is great. I've got a good sampling here, and with your permission, obviously, I can put them into my archive, and we can,
Oh yeah,
we can
yeah.
spin them from week to week.
Sure.
So I don't know if there's a particular track that you'd like to tee up here for us. I've got them all ready to go whenever you are.
We could maybe start with a Blue Bones track. That's a all London band. We toured all of Canada. We did shows with Tea Party, I Mother Earth. We used to host Much Music Power Hour a bunch of times in the Wedge, and we partied a lot, played a lot, worked really hard for many years, and we trashed the Gasworks once on stage. That was pretty, ripped the place to shreds. You know, even my band was like, what happened? I said, I don't know, the music just took me over, and I felt like we literally destroyed everything. PA lights, walls. We were,
don't know
they
why
had to
I'm laughing,
escort
but
me
it's
up.
funny.
But you know, our shows were sold out after that.
I bet.
And
So-
I can say it was probably a very big improvement to the sound in that place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the title of this track?
This song we'll do, I Baby. It's a song, I wrote it on a drop D tuning with a dime on a little cheap guitar, and then handed it over to the guys in my band who are the real musicians, and they turned it into this. But it's a simple riff, and it's a song about sort of tripping out and living in the nighttime world, and you know, hallucinating while you're out and about on the town. And check it out.
All right. This is I Baby. Gord Pryor on the London Indie Underground.
Blue Bones.
Blue Bone.
What the fuck?
Blue Bones with iBaby here on the London Indie Underground. One of a couple of tracks that we're going to feature with you, Gord. We were talking offline, and I know you've produced some bands here in London. You mentioned earlier about working with Helix, but you also mentioned that you had spent some time working with Kitty.
Yeah, they were awesome to work
Right.
with.
Now, this was prior to Spit,
Yeah,
right?
1999. Their dad, actually, Rob Nation called me from EMAC. They were thinking of either me or Bob Reed from Bob Noxious. Who could we get to tame these wild girls? They were 14 to 17 back then. And nobody at EMAC really knew how to work with them, you know, to keep it real. And I was just brought in to just be like a coach back then, and I just let them do their thing. I didn't really change a darn thing about the band. I tried to make it fun, and I think it's a great recording because it's raw, and they're so young and so new, and it's so fucking heavy, but it's really raw. And you know, 9 months later, they're on Conan O'Brien, and then they're touring with Ozfest, and it's just like, wow, you know. So that was a great thing to see happen to a London band. They've sold over 1 million records. I've got a gold album in my house from them that they were kind enough to give me, and that was when they were at 750,000 units. But at their peak, I don't know if a lot of people realize, but 4 girls from Byron, London, Ontario, you know, sold over 1 million albums and were managed by their parents and on a label with Danny Goldberg that before he had Kitty managed Nirvana, and before that was the publicist for Led Zeppelin. I think that's pretty fucking cool.
No doubt.
You know, and I've been with them with Courtney Love shows, and when I worked with them on that show, I helped out the girls on lights that night. They needed a light guy. I was doing lights for them that night, and the light man for Courtney Love just finished doing Marilyn Manson tour. And I asked him, you know, can I use any of your lights? Turns out he's from Sudbury, which is my hometown, and grew up a block from me. So next thing you know, he gave me the whole lighting desk. You know, he goes, I hate Courtney Love anyway. So we got to use all the lights and stuff. And no, they were great. They took me and my band around the States for 5 weeks and gave us their own tour bus. And they treated us like no one else. They were very generous. I was with the girls in LA. I've seen them play to like 20, 30,000 people. I've seen lineups in LA that they just had to send people away after 4 hours of signing shit. Like, I couldn't believe the excessive success they had in
There's
America.
not a lot of women in metal.
No.
Particularly then. Maybe more, a little bit more so now, but
Yeah.
even still, not really.
And they're original, and they're smart, and they were the real deal. And a lot of people criticized their playing, but I think they were missing the point back then. It was the energy and the spirit of the band. And
Well, I mean, they were 14 to
yeah,
17.
and they grew into it. Now they could play most people under the table. And oh God, we went 5 weeks around the world. We flew with them business class, literally like champagne, with Slayer and Pantera on tour, and we'd be bumping into Slayer and Pantera at the next airport, and there'd be free booze in the lounge before you get on the plane. This was before 9/11, and we were, you know, pouring ourselves into airplanes and drinking and partying and just living it up first class. Like, they treated us like gold. And we went to Amsterdam and Germany, and we flew to Australia and Japan, and just the girls were great to us. When we got to Amsterdam, it was a 3-day holiday. It was a 5-week trip around the world. Started in Vancouver with Blink 182, and then it went to Hong Kong and Japan. That was a whole other, oh my God, they played there with Pantera and Slayer, and we partied our faces off in Japan with the girls, and that was crazy. Australia, all this was happening. So by the time we get to Amsterdam, we're like, everyone's, you know, we're going to go to Amsterdam, we're going to smoke dope in those cafes, we're going to do mushrooms, we're going to go to live sex shows, we're going to do it all. And it all sounds like a great thing. You know, have you been to Amsterdam?
No.
You've heard people probably say the same thing. Well, we did it all. And let me just say this, I won't mention any names, but do not go to a live sex show while on mushrooms, because I tried that. And I ran out of there. My moral soul just said, enough, Gordy. You got to get your ass out of this den of iniquity, man. So I couldn't wait to leave Amsterdam, actually. But
Really?
yeah, because it was just, we went crazy. We went absolutely crazy. We smoked so much dope. We just beyond description, you know. We were throwing it and giving it away before we had to get to the next country. And the girls weren't. The girls weren't. They were laughing at us. They were quite professional, actually.
And underage.
Yeah. And Mom and Dad were there. But
That
no, the
explains it.
girls were partying, but not as irresponsibly as we were.
Sounds like a hell of a tour, man.
It was a lot of fun, man.
Now, you said irresponsibly, but really, you're being responsible to the legacy of rock and roll.
That's
really.
right.
It's irresponsible not to destroy things when you're
Yeah.
in that situation.
Oh,
Plus, it wasn't your money,
Yeah.
so that's when you even destroy things.
We
more.
got lost in a lot of hallways. There was a lot of, like, all over the world, you find yourself in a hallway of a hotel going, where's my room? And then you bump into someone from your entourage, like, and they're doing the same thing, and then, you know, you realize, wow, this is, okay, we're all in this together, you know. Like,
Rock and roll.
yeah. I've been partying in Vancouver, and you're at a big party, and you realize, where am I? I've only been in Vancouver since 11. Where am I even staying? You don't even remember your hotel, and you hope it's on your key, and it's not, you know? So then you go to a 24-hour diner, and you're thinking, how am I going to find my band? I don't have a clue where they are or where I'm even staying. I've been in town barely a day, and you look behind you, and your whole band is eating breakfast behind you. Life goes on, you know, and that's the road, right? You bounce around. There's no agenda.
So
Yeah, the
awesome.
times are different now. Now you grind it out in a van,
Yeah.
some fart box with a couple of dudes, and trying to figure out where you're going to stay,
Yeah.
what pizza you're going to eat next. Eat
Yeah.
some ramen noodles.
And lucky after 2 weeks if you're not dropping fists with each other at that point also, you know, because you're all just like, we've got no money,
Yeah.
we're not eating, we're getting fucked over constantly.
That's a true test of a band.
See,
Every
this was
band's metal.
Kitty. See, they had the big record deal.
Yeah.
So we were kind of riding their coattails. So don't get me wrong. We spent most of our 99.9% of our existence was playing to nobody in a van with no money. You know, there's those big glorious stories we all have that accumulate over the years, but no one talks about that Monday to Thursday part of the week where you're playing to frickin' nobody.
Yeah.
And you're ready to slit your wrists. You're up in Fort Francis in the middle of February or Sioux Lookout, or, you know, it can get, being in a Canadian band, you got to be tough.
Or you're
Yeah.
like my band where we had a borrowed van that ran on propane.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, that's just it, right?
How do you fill up?
So, yeah, well, you don't. In the middle of winter, you find a place that sells propane that's closed, and you wait and you huddle up with a couple of dudes in the back, and you
Yeah.
wait until 8 o'clock in the morning when they open or whenever it
Wow,
was.
that's hardcore.
Yeah.
You're hardcore to do that.
Rock
'cause-
and roll.
Yeah.
No, we were dumb.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great.
We just didn't know. We didn't realize that propane wasn't as plentiful as gasoline, right?
Yeah. Hey, we had a road crew once that put diesel in a gas 10-ton truck. That fucked us
no.
up
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good. Oh, yeah.
I'm with you. My guitar player, once basically we wired in, we were getting ready for the road.
Yeah.
So, you know, we, like everybody who's got fucking money back then, nobody.
Yeah.
So, you know, we got this used cassette deck or a used CD player for the van.
Yeah.
And I wired the whole thing all up, and all the fucking guy had to do was connect the cables for the battery.
Yeah.
Dude, says plus on one,
Mhm.
plus on the battery.
Yeah.
Make sure those match. I got it, Gary. Get off my fucking back. I can do this. Boom, backwards. Fry the entire electrical system a week before a tour. We basically went across Canada from Oshawa to Vancouver and back with basically wires running into the back of the van for our brake lights and for our headlights and for the stereo to work, and that was it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that was all. It was, so I got get off my fucking back, man.
got it, man.
I
I
can
got
do
this.
it. I can do it.
Yeah.
It's a plus symbol. I get. Just remember turning the key, and just like looking at my bass player.
There's
just going,
always those moments on the road where you want to kill somebody.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, or just leave them.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, this is it.
Yeah.
As soon as you hear that door lock, fucking floor it. We're gone.
All right, Gore, let's get to another song here.
All right.
So I got a bunch more. What would you like to spin?
Let's play something that I did with my good friend Stevie Georgakopoulos. That's a big, long Greek word, eh? He played in a Kiss tribute band a long time ago called Alive that did pretty good. Anyhow, he's a great songwriter, great rock and roll guitar player, really underrated, and we always had a great time writing together. We didn't have any intentions of doing... We didn't know what to do with our music, really. We just loved doing it back then. I was in Blue Bones, and I was doing this on the side. And Archie Gamble's on drums, Glenn Gamble. He's in the Buffalo Brothers now. And he was back then, and Stan Jeff Fountain. So I've got the bass player from the Buffalo Brothers and the drummer on this track. So great rhythm track. And me and Steve wrote the song. It's called Mind Over Matter.
And this is your solo stuff?
We were in a band. We were called Buddy. So,
Okay.
but we only did 1 or 2 shows. We were just more a bunch of friends that did this, and you know, we were also preoccupied with our main bands back then. We never really gave it the time it might have deserved. But I've always loved this song we wrote together.
All right, well, let's check this out. This is Mind Over Matter by Buddy, a.k.a. Gord Pryor, on the London Indie Underground.
Mind over matter, they say, and time it ain't easy for anyone. Hell, it ain't over on earth. And how did I get here this time? I've been down this road before. I've seen a million faces come and go again. The time is all that I could give up. And I've been somewhere else, I know it. I've seen it all before. I felt this way, but now I know that I could try again. And mind over matter, they
buddy here on London Indie Underground. You roll your eyes when I say that, Gary?
No, I was kind of just going along with you, London Indie Underground, because I always
okay.
fuck it up. Like I've gone London
Underground?
Undie Underground. I've gone London Hindi Underground. I've done it. I've
The
gone
Hindi Underground?
Yeah, just when I was slurring, but yeah, I've done it all. So when you do it, I always you never notice it, but I always have to do the same thing.
Right. So, Gord, before I
Sorry.
got a caveat to that.
Yes.
Before we get back to you, so you might be driving down York Street and passing Call the Office, and you will see, if you look up on their sign, it says Wednesday Indie Underground.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make a clear distinction. We are the London Indie Underground. Indie Underground is live DJ events every Wednesday night at Call the Office, DJ'd by Aaron McMillan. Regardless of who came first, we did. We're all in this together, and I'm sure our motives are the same. But philosophically, we are different. We are London's only independent music podcast, and we're showcasing some of our greatest talents. And to date, we've really had the who's who of talent in the London market, and we're definitely appreciative. A couple of things to tee up here for you. First off, if this happens to be your first time listening and you'd like to check out some of our back catalog, you can certainly do that if you go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/London Indie UG. There's 13 weeks up there, and I'm going to be uploading a bunch more tomorrow. The past couple of weeks, we've had the likes of Dan Broadbeck, Siggy Meyer, Josh Torrance from Baptized in Blood, Brendan Eady, Two Crown King's been here, Stalefish,
Dyadics.
the Dyadics.
Awesome.
So please
I'm
go and
honored.
check it out.
Holy shit.
And the segue into the Dyadics, actually, next week we are going to be featuring the first of many live performances here in the Vault Recording Studio for our Indie Stream podcast on Wednesdays. The Dyadics are going to be coming in. They're going to be performing, I think, 3 or 4 tracks for us. We're going to be doing a bit of an interview with them.
Yeah, and you can see how awesome it really is to see what they do. For
Right.
two guys.
2 guys that sound like 5.
Yep, it's pretty rad.
We're opening up our doors and inviting people, if you'd like to come in and check them out and perform live and sit in on our podcast and see what we're all about and connect with us, we invite you to do so. Please check us out on our Facebook page. You can get all the details with respect to our address, and there is an invite on the page right now for the Dyadics performance. If you'd like to go ahead and RSVP to that, just click on it, let us know that you're coming, just so we know how many people are going to be here, but the more the merrier.
That way we can have the appropriate amount of snacks.
That's right.
And strippers.
Yeah, BYOS. Bring your
I
own
like
snacks.
how you think.
Yeah.
You can arrange that for us?
No.
Wait, you got friends in high places. So, one of the things that brought my attention to you, Gord, and I've been here since '99, and kind of got to know, okay, well, who are the players in this market?
Mm-hmm.
And, the usual suspects come up, and I remember seeing your name attached to Helix, but one of the things that really brought attention, I think, to you through local media was the fact that you had auditioned for Velvet Revolver.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that don't know, and if you don't know, I'd be surprised, but Velvet Revolver is a band that consists of ex-members of Guns N' Roses, namely Slash. But that said, you had the opportunity to audition for them, and I wanted to ask you, how did that come about?
A friend of mine had contacted me and said, you should give these guys a call. They're looking for a singer, and he thought I'd be perfect for the band. I had been out of music for 10 years at that point, and last thing on my mind was doing something crazy like that. So I gathered up a bunch of old recordings, made a little quick, minute-long demo of segues, a bunch of different singing styles I'd done in the past, and I just sent it off. And another friend of mine, Spiro, who works for KISS, he got me the contact info, probably got it from his boss, Doc McGee, and he said, yeah, you'd be great, Gord, you should give it a shot. So he thought it was a good idea, and I just mailed off a resume like you would for any job, I guess, And I got a call back, and they sent me a couple tunes that the band had lying around without any vocal tracks on them, and said, write your own lyrics, write your own melodies, record it, and send it back to us, which I did, and I used Dan Broadbeck. We recorded the 2 songs really quick. Danny was in a transition period with the studio he was working at the time.
He was moving out to EMAC, right?
Yeah. And we popped in there. We had about an hour. I just banged off 2 songs, and I've worked with Dan so long, and he mixed it on his own free time when he could. I wasn't involved in that part, and he was really, thankfully, the guy's great, and he did a great job. And the way I approached the demos was a job application, so I wasn't really allowing myself to be very original or try to put my own stamp on things. Maybe I should have in hindsight, but what I did was I wanted to show, like, I can sing the old catalog if you had to do a Guns N' Roses tune or if you had to do a song that Scott Weiland had sung. I wanted them to see in my versions of their songs a little bit of those styles so they could, and you see that with Slash today and Miles Kennedy, like he can pull off those tunes, right? So my audition isn't very original. It sounds a lot like Guns N' Roses and STP mixed together, which is exactly kind of what they were, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
My hope was that if I got the gig, then you would move to the next stage where you actually work as a writing team and maybe then start to bring in my own influence and take it and maybe shape it somehow, you know? That was a far-fetched long shot of a dream, but you never know. And stranger things have happened. So long story short, a few months went by. I was dealing with their management company, Sanctuary Music Group in LA, and really, really nice, polite people, and they kept in touch with me. And then it was a few months later, they said, Gord, we found a singer. It's not you, but thank you, for all your efforts and contributing to this process. They're really nice. And I wasn't expecting a call. You do these things, you put it out of your mind, you get back to your life. Because it's kind of like having a lottery ticket, isn't it? You know, there's a million people want to do it. And and to be honest, deep down, I wasn't sure, do I really want this? Like, ask yourself, do you want to be that famous in a band overnight? Like, maybe some people might say, yeah, But really, truthfully, deep down inside, you want it, some people might find that a crazy thing to jump into. So there's a hesitation there, as well as an excitement, because it's a big thing.
Right. Well, I mean, it certainly created a bit of a buzz. It was in the news, and it was a big thing for this area.
Well, what they said to me was, keep the songs. Thanks a lot. Good luck with everything, and put them up on YouTube. Oh, back then I didn't use YouTube myself. I didn't have a reason to, because this was we're going back about 4 years now, right? And so a friend of mine posted it for me, and the way that he posted it, the wording was, something like along the lines like Velvet Revolver new singer audition, because there was a couple previous new singer audition videos up that were not me, and worded the same. But for some reason, the photo, the song, the timing of how he released it, it could have been taken two ways, like I was their new singer or I wasn't, or but it clearly said audition. But regardless, it went viral, and back then I never even heard. Viral video was not a word that people talked about 5 years ago like you do today.
Yep.
And it was up to 500,000 hits, and I'll be honest, I wasn't too thrilled. It was a weird feeling, like, do you want that attention? Like, because being in a situation like that, you're just going to get tons of haters, marriage proposals, all kinds of funny, strange things happened within a couple days. So I just took it down. I remember calling them. They called me. They said, what's going on? I said, I don't know. What do you mean? I was changing diapers. I got a call from their management. They said, Gord, our phone is ringing off the hook. I said, why? They go, it's all over the internet. You're in the band. I said, well, you said to post the videos, and I did. And they're like, we have no problem, but for some reason it's caught on like you're the singer. And that part, really, that's just a fluky, weird thing. Mm-hmm. I still don't understand how that happened. And I asked them, do you want me to take the videos down? I'll ask my friend to take them down. And they said, no, leave them up. But they didn't tell me it was the next morning it'd be front page news on rollingstone.com with the live links to my videos. So
wow.
It just went even bigger, Anyway, I took them down, I forgot about it, and I moved on. The good thing about it was it got me fired up to do music again, and within a few months I started a record with Ziggy and got back out playing live again. I thought this could be fun to do again, but it wasn't any big thing. It was because of the internet, and
it served a purpose, though.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, a neat thing. You learn from it, you move on. I was talking on the break, Thornley from Big Wreck, he really went down and sang with them. I didn't do anything like that. And he sang in a room with those guys, and that would have been really cool. And he would be great in that band.
I think so.
But yeah, that's a good story for the grandkids one day.
Yeah. Well, plus you probably obviously still have the recordings of that.
I
right?
have them at home.
I'd
Yeah.
love
I
to
don't
hear that.
listen to them, but
I'd
they're
love
just
to hear
sitting
it.
there.
I'd love to
I'll
hear
bring
that.
them in for you.
Yeah,
you
that'd
know?
be great. That'd be
yeah,
great. I'd appreciate
they're
that.
they're funny actually. There's
Yeah.
something humorous about it in a weird way because they're a little forced, you know.
Oh, yeah, an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
not
Danny.
not my greatest work, but you know, you can't take yourself too seriously. But I'm not afraid to try shit out, right? Like,
Very cool.
what do you got to lose, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that said, let's. We got one more track here for the Indie Spotlight.
Okay.
So, out of the selections that you brought us, what would you like to end off the spotlight with?
Let me see what I got here. We could play a tune of mine that I wrote, and it's called "Give It All Away,"
Okay.
which is a great way we should all be living, as far as, you know, share, give, be cool to your neighbors, help out that band. You know, if they book. That's the thing I want to say before I leave is I went out and played a lot last year in Toronto, Kitchener, and tried to branch out. And bands are really nice out there, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys are out there doing this more than me right now, but you bring a band to London from Kitchener, they should bring you to Kitchener. And
Right.
if all these bands, like, you know, you guys got your following here in London, and there's a band like you in Hamilton's got the same thing, a band in Cambridge has got the same thing. If we all started to interact
Yeah.
and trade off shows, we could create little circuit, little mini, you know,
Many scenes.
mini scene, you know, get 15 markets together. And but what I find is you bring bands in and do that, they don't return the favor. They get a nice gig 2 months later, and you think, that'd be great, I'd love to open with them. You know, you call them up, and you know, it's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've experienced
yeah.
that. I don't think people mean to do it. It's just the nature of the beast. But everyone's very isolated. There's bands that are very popular in a certain area physically, and then as soon as they leave that area, nothing.
We've spoken to that before. Like
Yeah.
We got to integrate this.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's
We're all
almost
in
like
this
when
together.
you're sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jim.
No, after you.
I was just gonna say it's almost like when you go to book with a band from a different city.
Yeah.
You kind of have to stipulate.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, we're putting on a show
Like
out
a
here.
referral.
We want you guys to come out here and play with us, but the trade-off is
You bring us.
you
to
bring
your
us
hometown.
back to there, and we're going to sign with. We're going to bring another band from a different place, and we're going to hook it up so
Yeah.
both of us go there and play with them, and they're going to set us each up when we come out there. And it's almost like exactly as you say it. But if you don't do it ahead of time with
Yeah.
the stipulation, again,
If
everybody's
you need to create
isolated.
an
It's like it's all
interface or,
about us.
or a Facebook network that was strictly for that purpose,
Yeah.
bands could interact, communicate,
Yep.
you know, how this is going to go, and start building a network. Because we're more connected than ever because of computers, but we're more separated than ever.
But that's the ego that separates us, right? That
Yeah.
isolates us. It's
Yeah,
everybody's.
we are all connected,
Yeah.
obviously, on a deeper level. We won't get into metaphysics, but
No.
truly, bands aren't connecting. At least when we were on the road touring, we got to know other bands.
Yep.
Boom, all of a sudden, you know, you get a flat tire in Calgary. You know, it all works together, but if you're not out there, and that's what I'd like to see more of, is bands sharing their turf. Like, you're huge in Hamilton, great. Bring a London band, treat them like gold, and we'll do the same for your band in Hamilton.
Makes
And
sense.
start connecting it. Then you don't need record labels anymore. You've got your own scene. You can really, that
Push-
would further everybody.
Push each other along and help each other out.
We're looking to do something like that here.
Yeah.
We've got a facility here that allows us to have private shows.
Wow.
in-house. So if there's a possibility to do that,
That's
we
fantastic.
would certainly like to support something like that. And
I would love to help with something like that.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'd really appreciate that.
I think music is a real important thing the next little while.
Yeah. When times are bad, music
question.
is always the thing that keeps
Really
everybody
important.
going.
Look at Sun Records. You just got to get it recorded.
Yeah.
Once it's out there, it's out there. It's got a life of its own. You know, the power of where music can go today has never been so powerful.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more.
I want to say real quick before we go.
Please do, please do.
I did produce and help out with a huge, great team of people. That Kissing Time CD.
Right.
You got Sarah Smith from London on there, Before the Damned from London, Bob Noxious from London. You got the Salads on there. You've got a whole bunch of bands from all over the area, Kitchener area, West Memphis Suicide. The list goes on. Grim Skunk. Who else have I left out? Raised Emotionally Dead from Toronto. If I've forgotten any, I'm sorry, but there's a ton of bands. Buffalo Brothers, obviously. And it's on sale at Grooves, and it's for Sick Kids Foundation. All money goes to them. And it's at the Village Idiot as well. And you can get it at Kissing Time on Bandcamp. Just type in Kissing Time Bandcamp.
We'll post a link for it.
Yeah, and it's all for charity. It's a great cause, and KISS were kind enough to help endorse it on their Facebook and on their official website. Thanks to Spiro, who was part of this project at a certain level. He recorded a fantastic track and played on my song as well, and did a tremendous amount of work to help push this project.
We featured a couple of the tracks off of that in an earlier one. We did an interview with the Salads.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
track's one of my faves.
Yeah, it turned out
Just
really well.
brilliant, you know.
And so we played Siggy's track to Love Gun.
Amazing.
That one turned out really well.
That's I had the pleasure of asking Ziggy to be on this record, and he blew our minds. And it was me and Ziggy talking on Facebook. Chuck from the Salads got in on the conversation, said he wanted to be on the record. I emailed him right away, and that was the end of that. We got that started too. So
Amazing.
Thank God, there's so many nice people that have helped this project, and awesome support from the music out there.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's check this one out. We're still going to come back, though. We've got
Yeah.
a little bit more to cover, and we've got a new track coming up from the Divine Right of Kings.
Okay.
And I promised them that I would play this, and I'm looking forward to listening to it. I caught a little snippet there earlier, but I wanted to save the full track for when we got live to air. So this is Gord Pryor, Give It All Away on the London Indie Underground.
I would never give it all away. I would never give it all away. I think it over. I would never try to hide away. I would never try to hide away. I think it over. I would never give it up to reason. I would never give it all away. Every time I talk to you, every time I try to get it through, every time I try, yeah, you give it all away. I can never try to find a way. I can never try to find a way. You think it over. Anytime I try to get away, anytime I try to get away, I think it over. I would never give it up to reason. I would never give it all away. Every time I talk to you, every time I try to get it through, every time I try, yeah, you give it all away. Come on, give it to me. I would never give it up to reason. I would never give it all away. Every time I talk to you, every time I try to get it through, every time I try, yeah, you give it all away.
Gord Pryor with Give It All Away here on the London Indie Underground. Thanks for joining us today, Gord. We really appreciate you
thank
being
you.
part of
Awesome.
the Indie Spotlight
Really good.
and sitting in with us. Some great stories, man. You're welcome to come back anytime.
Oh, thank you very much. My pleasure. It was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
So I got to take an opportunity to thank our sponsors here before we end it off with the Divine Right of Kings. And as we do every week, we kind of run down the list here because, you know, we got to pay props where props are due.
Yeah. We would like the list to get bigger. So if anybody's looking to sponsor.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the ultimate goal,
Yeah.
right? But, you know, we're keeping this thing grassroots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going to do this anyway.
Yeah, true. But I'm just saying. You know, remember, that's what I kind of do here.
Right. So
And we got to keep it fresh.
first and foremost, I as always have to thank the Submission Academy, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, located at Dundas and Egerton. And those of you that are listening will really, by now, have to know the story about the Submission Academy. But a cool story, Steve and Jane Poulin, who both run this club, are in Vegas right now, training at Drysdale Jiu-Jitsu. And Drysdale is accredited coach, world champion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, and trains a lot of the UFC fighters, like Frank Mir, just as an example. Vitor Belfort has been training there. He's got a fight that's coming up this weekend with Michael Bisping. So they're down there right now doing a belt grading. We hope that Steve's going to come back with his brown belt, which would be amazing. Jane just got promoted, actually. She's now a 4-stripe blue belt. But their school is blowing up right now. So much so that there's students, high-level students from some associate schools in London that I won't mention, but accredited schools with affiliates, well-recognized affiliates, are now leaving that school to come and train at the Submission Academy with Steve and Jane, just because of their work ethic, you know, their whole program. I mean, the pace that they push there is pretty incredible. That said, anytime they enter into tournaments, you know, they walk away with a bunch of gold medals. Right now, they've got, for the blue belt men's middleweight division, they have the North American champion that's training out of their school, which is amazing. So if you happen to be interested in getting to know jiu-jitsu or a martial art, you know, I always say most people associate it with a barbaric sport, when the truth is it's actually known as the gentle sport, and it does take a lot of work and a lot of core strength, but it does build confidence, and believe me, everybody that I know that's gotten involved with it absolutely falls in love with it. It's like addictive. And they come out of there chiseled. And one of my buddies, Brent from Stalefish, is actually training there right now, and absolutely loves it. Like he's addicted. So I would encourage you to check them out if you happen to be interested. I know they do. I'm sure they do like a free class or a free couple classes, whatever the case may be. But they will tailor the program to you. And now their school is now open all day. They even have classes at 7 a.m. They have kickboxing classes. They have boxing classes. They're teaching a women's self-defense course, actually, which is going to be coming up. I'm going to post a link for that later because it's actually a free course. If you make it, they're asking for charitable donations, but it's a 2-hour seminar. The last time that they did one, it was packed. It was sold out. So this
Wow.
one, they're doing it as with a charitable donation, and you can come in and learn some self-defense techniques, and this is for women. So we'll post up the information about that. You can check it out. Next, we got to thank our buddy Scotty Finlayson at Full Color Cards, also known as Scotty Fairmont. You may have seen him perform with the Fairmonts. Also back in the day with Kickstand Travolta. I don't know if you remember those
Yeah,
guys.
I remember them.
Scotty's an old dog, seen a lot of notes, and has played with a lot of people. And just a class act. Great guy. Broke off from working with Advanced Image Works, branched out on his own, and now he's doing fullcolorcards.ca. So if you happen to be in the market for business cards, this is a guy you want to see. Just a good dude. And has a great product. Did some work up for us. And did you go and see him, Gary?
No, not at the time. We're going for our next batch.
Right. Also need to thank Jay Rorda, which if you're listening right now, Jay, you were supposed to be here tonight.
Jay.
You dirty bearded.
God.
Dirty Dirk McGurdy. So he's supposed to be here tonight. I'm not sure where he is. Hopefully he's okay. But we love you, Jay. We miss you. We want you back. Jay Rorda, one of London's premier live photogs.
Mm-hmm.
And he still has a deal cooking. I know it was supposed to expire as of the new year. It was $50, but that carried forward. And if you need some pro photos done of your live performance, or you need some glamour shots, or whatever you need, get at him. You
Yep.
can see his address there on the screen right now.
Yeah, check him out on Facebook. Also, you can see a lot of his work. He does great live shots.
Right.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, his pictures, some of the pictures that he took
Of your
for
live
the
show.
Stalefish show
Oh.
are actually going to be featured on the jacket of the new disc.
Nice.
They turned
Nice.
out really well, so he's pretty excited about that.
Good.
And
Nice work.
last but not least, Gary, we need to thank you at Shirt for Brains, custom screen printing. If you can think it,
Ah.
Gary can ink it.
Some days, yes.
I left out one quick thing. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
No. Yes, of course.
February 2nd at Norma Jean's, they're doing a fundraiser for sick kids for this Kissing Time CD. You'll have West Memphis Suicide, Bob Noxious, Zealot's Desire, a bunch of other bands are playing, and it's a fundraiser. So February 2nd, if you got nothing to do.
Really, Gord, you had to drop it on February 2nd. It's my
Yeah.
first show in London ever.
Oh my gosh!
So no, but that's great. People go to the other one because
Oh,
helping
no,
the
no.
kids out. No.
Go to both.
Help yeah.
Where are you
Help-
playing? Where are you
I'm
playing?
at the London Music Club.
Oh,
I'm
awesome!
opening up.
Awesome.
It was just a last minute. Somebody
Yeah.
asked me if I'd.
Cool.
I'll come out.
Right, so-
It's time.
So I posted up today,
I did
Gary,
see.
your new project is called Bitterman.
Yep.
I posted that up, but we should post a link to
Yeah.
your show,
All right.
as well as we'll post the Norma Jeans link so people can
Yeah.
check that out.
Yes, we will.
And I got a link to my music site if you want to go there. It's free. You can download tons of free stuff.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, WAV files are free. Everything on Bandcamp. It's just Gord Pryor at Bandcamp. I'm not, it's easy to find on Google, and
The Goog.
On the
lots of free shit there.
So we'll, we don't want people to consider what we're doing spam, because I mean that's too easy to do, right?
Yeah.
But what we post up is things we feel are of importance, and we need you to check out if you happen to be interested. So we'll kind of do our thing here after the fact, and you can see what we're talking about.
Yep.
All right. So that brings us to the conclusion of another London Indie Underground. Want to thank you for tuning in. So before we end this baby, I just want to ask you guys here. So Divine Right of Kings, we got a new track. You guys have been working on the EP for a while. What's the status of your EP right now? Because you were with us some time ago. Maybe our listeners would remember. And at that point, I know you were still kind of working on things. Didn't know where we were at. Where are we at?
We had released a 3P a few months ago, back in April, and over the summer we've been playing a lot of shows. Did the Southern Ontario Metal Fest. We just finished a bit of a stunt with Skynet from Hamilton, who's an Unreal band. Blake Prince from Straight Reads the Line. They've been doing Unreal, and we'll be playing with them next Friday at the Brunswick Tavern. So we're working right now on our kind of follow-up EP, 5 original songs. It's titled Dead Ends. That'll be out in the next 2 weeks, hopefully for sure. And this is something coming from our upcoming EP.
As for status, you were asking, we're at about 95%.
95% completion of the new
Yeah.
EP.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is something we've been working on. It's our definite brainchild. It's something we've been really passionate about, and we can't wait for everyone to hear it. As far as that goes, I hope everybody enjoys it.
So when you guys are done, would you like to come and we'll do an EP showcase?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll
We
just have
can't
you
wait
guys
to.
in and we'll just rattle it off and talk some shit.
Absolutely,
Cool.
yeah. We can't wait
Love
to
to.
really express ourselves as a band, as individuals, and really present ourselves, present what London can offer as musicians, and what James, you've really helped us out as a band, and everybody else in this complex. We have lots of great friends in New Beginning, like I mentioned earlier, Jettison Commitment, Searching for Satellites, even the guys in Baptized in Blood, Single Mothers, everyone like that. We really have to respect everyone in this community, and like I said, we're all in it together. We'll all get there together.
My sentiments exactly.
Great
You know,
attitude.
Your band, we actually got a lot of feedback from you guys when we played your stuff that people were really digging it. So I'm sure that there's some anticipation for that, and as well as the track that we're going to play here today.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So I just
Right
want to
on.
thank you guys for joining us, Gord. Always
Thank
a pleasure.
you. Yeah.
Appreciate it, and gentlemen, thanks for coming and sitting in with us today.
Absolutely.
And thanks for bringing us a song. And like I said, as soon as it's done, let's hook up a date. I'd be happy
Absolutely.
to spin it for you. Okay.
For sure.
Cool. Gary, as always.
Jim, thanks for having me.
No, thank you, man.
That's all good.
You're working away furiously there on the interwebs.
I'm doing two things, and I feel bad, but I'm trying to buy an embroidery machine for the shop. But at the same time, nobody's talking that much online, so I'm sitting here, and Gord's got the story, so I'm not really having to jammer
but
that
you
much.
can
so-
you can post up the links though, man.
No, I'm doing that part. Trust me.
Okay.
Like your link's up, I put your link up, and the Kissin' Time link's up there as well.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. So I'm pushing. Okay, don't trust me on this one. I'm
Put
keeping
up the
that part.
Bitterman link too,
I will.
because
You know I won't, but I will.
And those of you that have not heard Gary, so we played a track or two of his before, and we should do a bit of feature. I know it's a little dated in terms of some of the earlier work that you've done.
Yeah.
However, if you have any new stuff you want to do, and you know what, dude, I do have a studio, so
Yeah, I know.
whenever you're ready.
But you know me, I never ask for anything because I always feel awkward about asking people for
Why?
stuff. It's just how I am. I've always
It's home
been that
team,
way.
baby, home team.
I know it's home team, so but that's why I kind of buy all that shit at home and just so I can do it and not impose, even though it sounds like crap when
It's
I do
not
it.
it's not an imposition, buddy. It's not an
Okay.
imposition.
I've
It's
got
your
lots of music to record. So
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in tonight, folks. Hope you enjoyed our program. Join us next week where we will have a live performance with the Diadics as well as an interview. It'll be our first of many live performances as part of our Indie Spotlight, or Indie Stream podcast, rather.
Yep. So you can check them out as well and see all that is cool with two guys making an
So the
orchestra
drummer
amount of noise.
plays bass through like an octopad.
Yep.
That plugs into the bass amp.
Yep.
And he sends, when he's hitting pads, it's hitting like low root notes.
Yep.
While he's playing with the other hand.
Yeah, and he does fills, he does everything.
And the guitar player Kevin Kennedy plays a double neck guitar.
Yep.
And just
sings.
Two guys sound like five.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty insane.
And you probably read the story. Geez, I'm tripping over my words over here. You probably read the story about Kevin Kennedy. He played in the Marrieds, and he lost his guitar, and Dave Navarro sent him a guitar. Did you end up
Yes,
reading
I
about
did
that?
read that story.
And so we broke the news here.
Isn't
what
that
happened? Yeah,
great?
because he had it stolen, or allegedly stolen, and then came
Came
to
here.
the studio after, and he was in somber mood.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
He lost his-
panic stricken as well because
Yeah.
they were leaving here and then they were off to the London Free Press to do an acoustic
98.1
or
FM.
98.1
Yeah.
to do an acoustic song live on the air. He had no guitar
Wow.
because he basically had lost his only acoustic. So he's like, first thing he said to, hey, Gary, do you have a guitar here? We're like, no, but we can go back to the house and get one. He's
Yeah.
like, no, I got to be right there. So they had to wrangle. I think they called it.
I could have loaned him mine. He didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe he wasn't comfortable.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think they wrangled one up, but they went and did this thing. But yeah, and then we were sitting. Actually, Jim was in North Bay that weekend, and I had a group of a motley crew sitting in with me that day. And actually, Scott hasn't been around for a while, has he?
No, he hasn't.
No.
Oh, he'll be around.
Yeah. So Scott was here, and the GIF was here.
The GIF, and then Adam Dick from.
Yeah, and Adam was here, and the GIF was basically picked up on this. Got a message about Dave Navarro sending Kevin this guitar, so he called him
Wow.
right up. He's like, "Is this true? We're on the radio right now." It's like,
Fantastic.
yeah, so we let everybody know, but it's
Cool
pretty
story.
pretty
So
cool story.
We'll get some of that story next week.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can share from their perspective.
Yeah.
And that's Kevin's other group called the Marrieds. But
The Marrieds.
he also plays with Never Ending My Lights as well.
Yeah, he's the guitar player for Never
So
Ending
he's
White Lights.
they're
Nice.
everywhere right now. So real looking forward to having them next week. So anyways, let's wrap this thing up. So we're going to end off with this track here. This is the Divine Right of Kings. This is a brand new track. This is called Deadbeat on the London Indie Underground. Thanks for tuning in.
It's impossible to see through the smoke.
We got one more here for you. The Divine Right of Kings. We're going to do a double shot to end this baby off. This is Kill the Lights. Is that the right one?
Kill the Lights off the soon-to-be-released EP called Dead Ends that you can expect out soon. You can find us online at thedivinerightofkings.bandcamp.com. You can download our full discography for free.
All right. Kill the Lights. Divine Right of Kings. Have a good night.